That's Dave.
It's Adam.
So, this is a bit of a change of pace for us. As you may have seen on the last gameplay video, I put in the beginning, David and I were going to be doing like a remembrance episode tribute for our grandpa, his uncle. My grandpa, his uncle.
A family member.
Yeah. So we figured we'll talk about some of our favorite memories, some stories, and then at the end of the video we'll put a little
montage of pictures.
Yeah, at the end of all the pictures that we have available. So
he will be missed.
For sure.
And remembered.
Gone, but never forgotten. Dave is wearing Dallas Cowboys. That was his favorite football team. I decided to wear this because he was a sharp-dressed man.
Clean cut. Always clean cut.
Ladies' man.
Most of the time clean cut.
Yeah. And I was actually thinking about like 10 minutes before you got here. I looked at the shirt and I was like, I'm 98% sure he had this exact same shirt.
Really?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Is that right?
Imagine that. Is that right? And imagine that were two of his favorite lines.
Oh, for sure.
You knew he was listening when he would say, imagine that.
Or wasn't listening.
Or wasn't listening. Take it with a grain of salt, however you wanted
Pretty
to.
much.
Yes, I am wearing Dallas Cowboy attire because he taught me the game of football. I am a Cowboys fan because of him. Pretty much sat me down, not in the exact way that I'm explaining it, but pretty much sat me down and said, this is football, this is the Dallas Cowboys, this is what this is what that is. He taught me the game of football. So I did play football through high school, and I've been a Dallas Cowboy fan before I was even a Chicago Bear fan. So that's one thing that I dedicate to him, is being a Cowboy fan. Very much so.
Yeah, he always gave me shit because I was a Packer fan, which everyone does, even you do, but
That's your own problem.
it's not a problem. So yeah, we had a lot of good memories of him. They used to pretty much co-own, you might as well look at it that way, because they ran the place, a campground up in Broadhead, Wisconsin called Crazy Horse.
Where we've both spent a lot of time through our adolescent, teenage years. I know I spent quite a few weekends, holidays. Actually, when the Cowboys were going to the Super Bowl a lot, I was up there for Super Bowls.
I was there pretty much every summer growing up. And, yeah, it was fun times. He would start fires and sit down by a fire at night and drink his beer and chew his tobacco and not spit and tell stories and make fun of me. And
yeah, that's one thing I've mentioned before in gameplay is I've sat next to that man for quite a few hours at the campfire and see him grab a dip, not see him spit one time. Oh. So he's originally from Texas, as far as I knew.
Mm-hmm.
He was originally from Texas, and he brought the Cowboys with him up here to Illinois.
What did he do down in Texas? I don't know that side of him too much because I never heard it.
I don't want to quote it, but I believe he was a rancher. He worked on a ranch, either a ranch hand or a rancher is what I believe I can remember. If that is wrong, I apologize. That's what I can remember, though, being a ranch hand, dealing with horses. I mean, you got to look at, remember his walk? Mm-hmm. He was bow-legged. Mm-hmm. So that's from riding horses most of the time. So, he was my best man in my wedding. I am now divorced, but he was my best man, and if I was to get married again, he would be my best man again.
He was my best friend growing up when I was a kid. Bunch of stories, bunch of things he taught me. Even though he thought I was, and I quote, dumber than a box of rocks. Yeah, I remember he'd come to pick me up on weekends, and we'll drive up, and he's drinking a beer, and he has a cooler right next to him, drinking the whole ride up there.
I have a perfect story about that one. It was either Aunt Karen or Uncle Jim, but I believe it was Uncle Jim. Got in the car, riding along. I wanted a drink. Well, the beer was always in a Pepsi can or a Coke can or whatever.
Still is to this day.
I took a drink of that Coke can and I spit it out. And he looked over at me and he goes, "Well, that'll teach you to drink out of somebody else's can." So
that's how he was. That's how he taught. Like, you want to try it, go ahead. You're gonna like it. He wouldn't tell you that.
That was the first and last time I ever drank out of somebody else's without asking. It's he was always fun, always, that I can remember.
Oh, he was very lighthearted and full of love. You know, he'd been over backwards for you, and he didn't have to.
I had been gone for quite a while from the campground. I was in the vicinity. There used to be a railroad bridge down the way, and there was a neighbor girl that would always ask about me on the weekends if I was there or not. Well, me and her happened to walk down the path, and still young at this point, walk down the path and go to the train bridge where most of us all went. And I know Adam's been down there, my other cousins as well. Mm-hmm. They were looking for us for a while. Uncle Jim comes strolling down the path, and
he always knows where to find you too.
Yeah, for sure. Found me, and he gave me that ass chewing. But then after the ass chewing was done, "Did you at least kiss her? Did you at least kiss her?" Said I sure did. His famous line. Imagine that. All right, let's go get some grub. You know. So it's. I miss you, Uncle Jim.
For sure. I don't agree with a lot of things that went down in your final days. I know Dave doesn't agree with it either. Just know from the bottom of our hearts, we wish we could have been there with you.
Very much so.
I was sick, unfortunately. I'm never sick, and one time I do get sick, you know, this happens. He was on the road, he couldn't make it. I do find some sort of comfort knowing that when my dad went the day he died, I told my dad to tell him I said hi, I love him, and it's okay. And then, an hour or two later, he passed away. And I like to think that he was waiting for that from me and you and my dad. And then once he heard it, he just decided to go.
I also called Adam's dad, which is my cousin, and told him as well, hey Richard, go ahead and give him I love you, and I'll keep the wheels turning and blow that horn for you. So.
He was a good man.
He was awesome. I know how to build a fire because of him. He taught me how to set up and build and start a fire. So I have, not just me, we have his traits that live on through us. Doesn't matter if it's grandson or nephew, it's still a family member. For me, I have now lost my last uncle. That's no better than Adam losing his grandfather. That's just on my perspective. I never met my grandfather, so Adam got that opportunity. For me, my uncles were my grandfathers, were my best friends, and now I have lost my last uncle. So
Jim, I consider, even though not, what's the word I'm looking for? He was married in. He married my grandma before I was born. So my actual real grandpa would have been my dad's dad, and he died when he was young. So Jim was always that grandpa for me. And he treated me like I was legitly, you know. And he was my best friend growing up, like I said. And I was closer to him than my other grandparents, in which they're not even my really grandparents either. They're my mom's aunt and uncle that adopted her because both her parents died too. So, in essence, Jim was my only grandpa.
He is and was your grandfather.
Yeah.
He treated us, as far as I know, all the same.
Yeah, as equals. No one was better than the other, you know.
So what if, that's all I've ever known is my Uncle Jim and my Aunt Karen. That was my aunt. That is my uncle. Yes, my aunt is my mother's sister, but she was married to him. So that's my uncle, plain and simple. He helped me through the passing of my other two uncles, Karen and my mom's brothers. So it's, he was there. He was there if I needed a shoulder to cry on.
For sure, he was always there. Wanted to talk to him about anything, ask him anything, go ahead.
And his corny jokes. I got one, and it was before the Dallas Cowboy new stadium went up, and it went like this. You know why they left the roof open on the Cowboy Stadium, right?
What is that?
So God could watch his team. It's just little ones like that.
Little zingers?
Little zingers, yeah. There was quite a few. I really wish I could remember some of them.
There's so many. I couldn't even
some of
tell you.
them aren't, I would say, appropriate, but...
Do you remember them?
I not at the moment. I don't. I can dig. I had to dig into this oddly brain of mine, but... Hey, there's...
It was just so heartwarming in this, especially up at the campground. You knew every night he's going to be up grilling.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, he was always cooking. It was always good. You'd never go hungry. That's for sure.
No, it was always fun going up there to see them. As a nephew, they treated me like I was a grandson or a son.
Yeah.
There's hours of videos up there. Not just, up there, just Jim in general.
What he used to do? His job up there, he had that old red tractor he'd be driving out with the pumps on it? He'd have to go pump.
Honey wagon.
Yeah.
He called it a honey wagon.
You could smell him coming home for lunch. You could just get a whiff of that in the air and here comes Grandpa Jim with that poop.
I'd help him out when I was up there with things.
Yeah.
The nightly check.
Oh, yeah.
Walk around with the flashlight with him. Walk around the whole campground.
He used to wake me up about 10, 11 o'clock at night and go kick the street pole, make the light come on.
Nope, never showed me that one.
Yeah.
That must have been your guys' thing. Very
They'd
cool.
wake me up, they're like, hey, come on, let's go turn on this light, go kick it.
Nice.
And I go kick it, and the light came on, and this... He's gonna be missed.
Very much so. He lives on, those memories in general.
What is your favorite memory of him? Or something you did together, which is still a memory, so...
I think it would have to be the drinking of the Coke can, Pepsi can, soda can with beer in it. There's Christmas after Christmas. One is no better than the other. They all fall into the same category.
Yeah, they're all equally memorable.
Without a doubt. The one I can remember vividly is the soda can. It's... he'd always ask, where I've been, what you've been hauling. I didn't even have to tell him, he asked.
Mm-hmm.
So that was...
Every time I go see him towards the later years, after I'm an adult, and this is probably last year or months ago. How you been? How's Jen? How's your dogs? I'd walk in the house and he would always stand up and greet me, shake my hand, hug me. So I always returned the favor to him when I left from visiting him. Said, "Love you, Grandpa." I love you too, buddy. And that was the last thing I said to him. So you can never say love you too much, and you can never be around the ones you love the most too much, because you never know, you know? Some of my favorite memories is towards the later years. And just going over there and, hey, I got this new phone. Can you help me figure this out? I don't know how the hell you get this Bluetooth to work. And then I'd show him, and then come over again a week later, like, hey, can you show me how to get this Bluetooth to work again? What the hell?
It's funny because he's done that with me too.
Yeah. There's always something with the phone. He always has like a new phone. It seems like every freaking month. Like, dude.
My fondest memories were up at the Crazy Horse.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I have pictures of Christmases when I was little, but you don't remember those as much, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Fondest memories would have to be up there.
Without a doubt.
Most vivid memory is, like I said, the soda can, and the best times were when the Cowboys were in the Super Bowl, almost year after the year there for a while. That was always fun. Because I am a Cowboys fan because I am.
Just the football team, not him. Wow.
And using his words, because
yeah.
I went back and listened to some of the commentary from Grand Theft Auto on that, and imagine that.
Is that right? It's always stuck with us.
It carries with you, and it'll keep carrying on. I have traits from all my uncles. I drive truck because of Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I love the outdoors because of Chuck. I'm a Cowboys fan because of Jim. Then all their traits live within me. Again, he taught me how to start a fire. Nobody else did. Me and him. Oh, and fires in the winter when there's snow piled up. Take the top off and start a fire. The snow around it would eventually melt, and we'd be nice and warm.
Yeah, I remember those days. I remember he used to get these, I don't know if they were metallic or something. You throw in the fire and make the flames turn different colors.
Oh, they were about 12 inches long.
Mm-hmm.
Couple pieces of copper.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And then those coppers stuck inside of an old garden hose. So you cut the garden hose and you throw it in there. Pretty cool.
It was cool.
Nowadays they have the little open packages.
Ooh.
Yeah. These lasted a long time.
Oh, it lasted the whole fire, the whole night.
Yeah. And then kill the fire. Let it smolder down. Right back up in the morning. All he knew all he had to do was throw another log on there and it'd start right back up.
He would definitely be somebody I would want with me if I became stranded in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah, for sure. Without a doubt. Good man.
I remember he was a big NASCAR fan too. Number 6, Mark Martin.
See, that's funny because I am a Mark Martin fan also because of him.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
He was definitely a good role model to have. And unfortunately, the later years he was slowly started deteriorating from a fall to broke his neck, broke some ribs on the same fall, and because of that, well, no, he was diagnosed with cancer, I think, first of the lung, and then started chemo. And if you know, chemo just kills everything inside you and just weakens everything. So I think that was the culprit into him falling and breaking his neck and ribs. And I think they found
pneumonia.
Yeah,
Not pneumonia. Pneumonia.
That came later, but yeah. And then I think he had an aneurysm in his stomach. Got all that healed. Went back home and got pneumonia. And we've had that for a few months. So the chemo already got rid of the cancer in one of his lungs. So that one is just worthless until, unless you're healthy enough to build it back up. But he wasn't, because he got the pneumonia, and the pneumonia filled his other lung completely. So we knew it was coming. We were just really hoping he could have held on an extra day or two, so I could have got over my sickness and he could have came back home. Because as you've probably seen in my past videos, I have a problem with anxiety and depression, and one of the biggest triggers is dealing with death and aging. But it would have been worth it. I would have been right there alongside him, holding his hand, saying it's okay. And I'm sure David would have been too. We wouldn't have left his side. And it's a bunch of personal stuff going on about some things that we don't agree with, but
it is what it is. There's nothing we can do or say, so we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
It's not about that. I could care less. This is what it's about. It's about my Uncle Jim. It's about Grandpa Jim. It's about a family member.
So my happiest times was being up at the campground with him. All the stories he'd tell me and things he would show me and all the corny jokes. And
that's what we hold on to.
I was fortunate enough to never really get on his bad side.
I don't think I was ever on his bad side either.
Well, that's when we made him come look for you.
Oh, he was pissed. But I deserved it.
Yeah.
I got my ass chewing, and then it that was it. That was the end of it.
Yeah.
Take your ass chewing, carry on.
And he had something about him that you knew that you fucked up, and you're never going to do it again. At least not around him or in front of him.
What's that?
Just the way he would look at you and talk to you. You knew not to do it again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that time in the car, the truck, when I took a sip.
Yeah.
Let him teach you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure when I went, it was, imagine that. You want to teach you? You won't do that again, will you? Nope.
I think I tried some of this snuff one time. I was like, hey, I want some of that jerky.
I don't think I ever did.
He's like, oh, you want some? I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, no.
No, thank you.
That was...
Imagine that.
It was like eating an ashtray. This is just put a whole ashtray in your mouth. There you go.
It ain't that bad. He sat there and didn't swallow once. Shit.
Is that right? Imagine that. Non-stop, all day, all night.
Yep.
It's been tough. I've been crying off and on for the past 2 days. And I figured this is the least we could do for him. And as far as I know, nobody else in our family is doing anything like this. So I think it's kind of cool that you and I are, saddling up and doing this for him.
Don't bother me none. I planned on doing it the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
From the moment I got the phone call from you and you told me that he passed away, I was doing a dedication to him. Whether it would have been here or on my channel. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't have mattered. He's here. And he's here.
And I was telling Dave, I had a dream about him the night before. And he was at his house. By the time I got there, he had already passed away. So as I was discussing with, I think it was probably Grandma or something, what we were going to do next, I think I was the only one that seemed like his spirit or something just get up and come to me and put his hand on my shoulder and say, it's okay. I'll be alright. And then I woke up, and then that day, I was editing down here, that gameplay, and just out of nowhere, I just got a very heavy feeling about him. I just started thinking about him out of nowhere, and it's another voice in my head saying, it's time, it's going to be okay. And then about a half hour, 45 minutes later, I got a call saying he passed.
It's interesting and peculiar how those things work.
Yeah. And me, someone that questions and is a big skeptic of everything, it's got to mean something.
Definitely. I could go into other situations, but maybe leave that for a different episode. This is about Uncle Jim, to Uncle Jim, Grandpa Jim on here. And
What you got to say?
well, just how interesting, peculiar, how those things work out that way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my father passed away of. It doesn't matter what he passed away of, but he had cancer. I was on the road. I could only see him on the weekends. I had to continue on. He wanted me to continue on with my job. I thought during the week while I was gone, he was going to be gone. And I got home and I got a phone. As soon as I pulled the brakes on the semi and stepped out of the semi, put my feet on the ground, I got a phone call from my sister saying Dad passed away. It was like he knew I was home. So death works in a very, very interesting way.
For sure. It's
Aunt Lucille, same way.
I vaguely remember her.
Not too much movement. The next morning, the whole family was there. Family, if you're watching this, you know. Me and Aunt Karen stayed the whole night with her. I ended up going to bed, and the next morning she popped her eye after everybody was in the room. She popped her eyes open and started looking around at everybody, and then closed her eyes and passed away. That was my first time of seeing death at first hand. So we all have our own stories about death, and maybe we can make that another episode. But this episode is to Jim.
I hope wherever he is, if he's out there, in heaven, afterlife, whatever there is, if there's anything, we're making him happy, proud, doing this.
Yeah.
Was gonna have a beer for him.
Oh, we forgot. Darn it.
Just now thought of it, forgot about it. Gonna miss you, big guy. For sure.
I miss you too, Uncle Jim.
I'm gonna go for 3 more minutes. 2 more. Make it even 30.
Even 30?
Yeah.
Oh, hit pause. Let's go get a beer.
So we just went upstairs and got ourselves some drinks on behalf of Jim. Be careful driving home if this messes with you.
Put that on YouTube.
We got an Uber for you.
That'll work.
So, Jim,
This is for you.
here's to you, buddy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
So, this episode is more for us. If you guys...
And family.
Yeah, and family. If you guys leave a like, show your support, it'd mean a lot to us. It was much harder than I thought it would be for me, but you put in all those memories that I've had with him from when I was a kid growing up, and it all comes to a head, and you really...
It's still lingering for me.
Yeah,
'Cause
same here.
not only have I lost my last uncle, besides your father and your uncles, which are my cousins, I have now lost all of my elders that are role models to me. So, that's what it is for me.
And that's going to get harder and harder.
Luckily, I am the man I am today because of all my male role models.
Jim, we love you.
Love you, Jim.
keep an eye out. Watch over us. Watch over him when he's out on the road.
Hold that horn for you.
I'm sure he's sitting right there next to you anyway, wherever you go. So he's enjoying it.
Imagine that. That's Adam.
Is that right? That's Dave.
Later.
Later, guys.